Did you know the average rider drops over $1,000 a year on repairs? A huge chunk of that is totally unnecessary. Mechanics are charging you for stuff you don't need, product pushing, and sweeping simple DIY fixes below the mat. These tips, my friend, could save you some serious cash. But not today. We're exposing those fads. I'm giving you 10 motorcycle maintenance tips that mechanics don't want you to know. These tricks will save you money, extend your bike's life, and ensure that you don't get ripped off at the shop. Stick around because by the end of this video, you'll never see motorcycle maintenance the same way again. Let's get into it. But first, smash that like button and subscribe if you're ready to save some serious money. All right, let's kick things off with tip number 1. Skip the overpriced chain lubes. Walk into any motorcycle shop and they'll try to sell you some fancy aerosol can for like $1 million. But here's the secret, you don't need it. Many experienced riders use simple gear oil or synthetic motor oil. It works just as well, if not better. The key is consistent application, not the brand. Lube that chain regularly to prevent wear and rust. A small bottle of gear oil is a fraction of the price and keeps your chain just as protected. Some riders even use 90-watt gear oil, which clings really well, providing excellent protection. Huge mistake to avoid. WD-40 as a lubricant. It's a degreaser, not a lube. It'll strip away existing lubrication and cause faster wear. Use it to clean your chain if you want, but always follow up with proper lubrication. Tip number 2. Your brake fluid doesn't need changing as often as they advise. Some shops try to sell you a brake fluid flush every single year. They make it sound like a must-do, warning you about spongy brakes. But honestly, they are just trying to take your money. Brake fluid does absorb moisture, but unless you're racing or riding in extreme conditions, a change every 2 to 3 years is fine for most riders. So, how do you know when it's time? Check it yourself. Peep your brake reservoir. If the fluid is clear or light amber, you're good. If it's dark brown or has debris, then yeah, it's time for a flush. Another trick mechanics won't tell you. Use high-quality DOT4 or 5.1 brake fluid. It resists moisture better, so you don't need to replace it as often. Brake fluid is important, but don't fall for the yearly flush scam. Tip number 3. Ever had a mechanic tell you motorcycle batteries just die every 2 years? Total BS. It's a myth designed to line their pockets. A well-maintained battery can last 5 years or more. The real killer? Letting it sit without charging. When a battery sits for months, especially in the cold, it drains and dies. The fix? A battery tender. It keeps it topped off and prevents those deep discharges. No tender? Take your motorcycle for a short spin. And seriously, letting it drain completely once can be fatal. Remember that. Tip number 4. Overpriced motorcycle cleaning products. The great repackaging scam. Ever notice how they push motorcycle-specific cleaners for double the price? Here's the tea. Most are just repackaged automotive or household cleaners. A good automotive wax works wonders on your tank. Basic glass cleaner is perfect for windscreens. Degreasers clean your engine. Don't be fooled by fancy labels. Your bike won't know the difference. Save your money for gas and gear. Tip number 5. The humble toothbrush. Your chain's best friend. Shops love selling new chains and sprockets. But here's a secret. Most riders kill their chain way too early due to neglect. Dirt and grime act like sandpaper. The solution? An old toothbrush. Grab a toothbrush, some kerosene or chain cleaner, and give it a quick scrub once a month. This can double your chain's lifespan, saving you hundreds. A well-maintained chain can last 20,000 miles easily. So get scrubbing. Tip number 6. Leaking fork seals. Often just dirt. Fork seal replacements cost hundreds, but most leaks are just dirt stuck under the seal. Before you shell out the big bucks, try this. Take a thin plastic card or seal mate, slide it under the seal, and work it around. 9 times out of 10, this clears the dirt and stops the leak. A $5 trick that can save you hundreds. Tip number 7. Over-tightening your oil drain. Plug, a costly mistake. Over-tightening the oil drain plug. Shops won't warn you because if you strip the threads or crack the pan, they get paid. Don't crank it down with brute force. Hand tighten it, then just a bit more. Even better, use a torque wrench and follow your service manual. A simple oil change shouldn't turn into a major repair. If you found this helpful, what's the biggest ripoff you've ever encountered at a motorcycle shop? I want to hear your stories. Tip number 8. Anti-seize saves you. Big time. Ever tried removing a bolt only for it to seize, strip, or snap off completely? If you've been there, you know how frustrating and costly that can be. Special tools, heat, and even mechanics are often required just to get it out. But here's an easy fix. A small dab of anti-seize compound can prevent all of that. This inexpensive silver gray grease acts as a barrier against corrosion, moisture, and extreme heat, stopping bolts from locking up over time. It's perfect for axle nuts, exhaust header bolts, spark plugs, brake caliper bolts, and any fasteners exposed to the elements. If you ride in wet, salty, or humid conditions, bolts can fuse together due to oxidation. A little anti-seize ensures you can remove and retighten them without worrying about snapping them off. A tube of anti-seize costs under $10, lasts for years, and could save you hundreds in labor costs while preventing headaches. Mechanics won't tell you this because seized bolts mean more work for them, but now you're in the know. Tip number 9, DIY coolant flush. It's easier than you think. Ever had a mechanic tell you that flushing your coolant is a complex job, charging you $100 or more to do it? Well, here's a secret. It's actually one of the easiest DIY maintenance tasks you can do. Coolant doesn't need to be changed as often as some shops claim. Most bikes only need a flush every 2 years. Still, some mechanics try to upsell you on yearly coolant changes to pad their bills. Before paying up, check your owner's manual for the real service interval. The process is super simple. Drain the old coolant by removing the drain bolt or loosening the lower radiator hose. Flush the system with distilled water to remove any debris. Refill with fresh coolant. But make sure to use motorcycle-specific coolant, not car antifreeze, which can damage seals. Run the bike for a few minutes to bleed out air bubbles, then check the coolant level again. If you can turn a wrench and use a drain pan, you can do this yourself in under an hour. Tip number 10, wheel bearings. Check and prevent a disaster. Most riders don't think about their wheel bearings until it's too late. When they fail, it's not just a costly repair, it's a serious safety issue. Mechanics love it when riders overlook this simple check because by the time you realize something's wrong, you're paying for new bearings, labor, and possibly even axle or wheel damage. Good news, checking your wheel bearings only takes about 30 seconds and could save you hundreds of dollars. Here's how. Lift the front wheel off the ground using a paddock stand or center stand. Spin the wheel. If it spins smoothly and quietly, you're good to go. If you hear grinding, clicking, or resistance, your bearings are worn out. Grab the wheel on both sides and try to move it side to side. Any noticeable wobble means your bearings are loose or failing. Repeat for the rear wheel. If you catch worn bearings early, replacing them is cheap and easy. But if you ignore them, you could end up with a locked-up wheel, damaged axle, or even a crash. Smash that like button. Subscribe for more motorcycle secrets, tips, and tricks. And let me know in the comments.